Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Boulder Punch Podcast. For those of you just joining us, Boulder Punch is an audio love letter to all things Resident Evil. This episode we're tackling the gameplay demo of 7, what we expect for the full game, and after that we'll be giving a little bit of attention to Remake 2. As is always the case when dealing with zombies, mutated monsters and creepy mansions, there's safety in numbers. That's why today, joining me, we have our glorious leader, Rezi.
Hello.
Itchy Tasty.
Hello, everybody.
And Yawn.
Hello, everybody.
This is your spoiler warning for today's podcast. If you haven't played the game trailer yet, don't want to know anything about the game before it's released, be warned, here be dragons. And after you've listened to the podcast, you can join our conversation over on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Resident Evil Biohazard. We'd love your company over there. Okay, jumping into the trailer for 7, in preparation for the podcast, I asked you guys to have a look at the gameplay trailer, which I hope you all did, at least a little bit.
Of course, yeah. We've done our homework.
Good. Capcom have said it's only supposed to serve as an introduction to the new theme and direction. The actual game will have different stories and characters. So with that said, I thought we'd just generally talk a little bit about how satisfied you are at the minute that 7 will be something you'll like, or do you think that after watching the trailer maybe you won't like it as much? Let's start with you, Rezi. What do you think?
See, I knew you'd start with me. What do I think of 7? I think it was inevitable, the change in direction. I think that come from 6. So I'll be honest, before the trailer, I seen any footage of it, I was kind of expecting something totally different. So when I first played it, when I first played the demo of the first one, I thought it was brilliant. I thought really creepy. If you play that with your headphones on, with the light off, it certainly brings the scare element back to Resident Evil. That probably hasn't been there for the last few games. And when I've seen the trailers, the new one, the Lantern one, it's given me more of an interest, and my curiosity is definitely spiking, because every time we see something, but then Capcom is kind of saying this is not in the game, but it's kind of getting your suspension levels, I don't know, really dead high. I don't know what you think.
What about you, Itchy? What do you think?
Well, I'm really trying to, I don't know how you'd say, I'm trying to keep my reserves, because I don't want to go in with high expectations, because that's the easiest way to be let down. There's been a lot of good survival horror games that have come out. Well, maybe not a lot, but there's been quite a few over the recent years, and they're very different than the survival horror that, came out in the 90s and early 2000s. And it looks to me like Capcom's been paying attention, and they're willing to change. They've always been willing to change, and I'm pretty excited from what I've seen so far. It looks to me like we're in for a treat.
I'm a little nervous with that whole first-person point of view, but other than that, they covered everything.
Okie dokie. Well, the first main point I thought we could talk about is that Capcom have confirmed that there will be absolutely no QuickTime events in this one. Are we happy about that?
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Oh, thank God.
Yes, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, QuickTime events can go die. They were alright in Resident Evil 3, but apart from that...
you can actually enjoy a cutscene and not have to worry about dying.
Oh yeah, the amount of times I died playing Krauser on Resident Evil 4. So it would be nice to repeatedly press square to run from Boulder.
So there's going to be a completely new cast of characters. So do you guys like Ethan? What you've seen of him so far? And
yeah, I don't know. I think it's still early, to be honest on that. Yeah,
it's going to be one of those things where. You have to go in expecting it to be different, because they've already said that these characters aren't going to be like Leon and Chris have been in the past few games, where they're really overpowered. They're going to kind of tone that down.
Like punching a boulder.
Yes, exactly. So I think we just need to go in with an open mind.
There's a lot of criticisms of the trailer, saying that it looks like a badly made, slender Unity game.
I think it looks really good. I think it plays dead smooth. stylistically in the art direction, it looks really like creepy. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't say it was like a fan-made game or something like that.
What did you guys think of the scares in it, like with the mannequins and everything? Did you think that the moving and turning around was Resident Evil, or do you think it was trying to be a bit too like PT?
The mannequins kind of got me, though, because it makes me wonder, what do they tie in with the game? Because they didn't explain that. So are they actually going to be a part of the main game, or were they... I don't remember this game, but it came out for our Xbox, and it might have been on PlayStation as well. I think it was Criminal Minds or something like that.
Was it Condemned?
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's just... you know what? It may have too much of a feel to that game. I don't know. Maybe they got a person on there that's like, hey, you know what? I really enjoy mannequins, so let's just go ahead and throw a couple mannequins in here. And it may not be a part of the main game. So, I mean, in a way, it's kind of weird how they're doing that. So,
I'm a bit confused.
But other than that,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm a bit confused with like the supernatural element to it, though. Because Resident Evil has always predominantly been about like viruses and like zombies and stuff like that. And I think going into this supernatural, because I mean, who's moving the mannequin? If you look on the latest trailer, Lantern, there's bits where the doors are closing as you get close to it. It's like a ghost, isn't it, in the first demo, where if you stop, I think it pops up 8 times, 7 times. Yeah, it was pretty close, but it pops up. Now, but at the same time, they've also said that doesn't feature in the main game, so it's a lot of confusion, really.
Honestly, to me...
Makes you wonder...
To me, from what I've seen of Resident Evil 7, there's a lot of it that feels familiar to me because, you know, I've played Outlast, Condemned, you know, all these newer, more modern survival horror titles, and there is a lot of what I see. It looks familiar to me. I feel like I'm going to be at home playing this game. But what you guys said about the supernatural elements, that's probably the strangest thing for me because there's always been kind of a science fiction B-movie feel with Resident Evil. You know, it's not really realistic, but they tried to at least halfway ground it in realism. Like, this is something that could happen, and then there's a lot of people that are off-put by the supernatural stuff, like ghosts, and I'm curious.
Did you ever see the Resident Evil 3.5? It was like 4, wasn't it? And he kind of redone 4, and it had like a supernatural element to that, didn't it? Remember, there was like a ghost and something with a hook coming at you. So
are you talking?
It was in the castle, yeah. So
are you talking about the prototype that became Devil May Cry?
No, there was
no.
3.5. It's called Resident Evil. If you go on YouTube and have a little look at Resident Evil 3.5, it was basically Resident Evil 4, and then he kind of scrapped the game and certain elements made it into 4, but there was like a supernatural feel to it. So it's as if Capcom always had the potential to maybe go down that route, but they never quite did.
So the next thing I thought we could talk about was the Baker family. That is we assume the antagonists in the game.
I think there are zombies in the game. I'm sure it's been confirmed by Capcom or somewhere has confirmed zombies. I think it was wasn't it? There was a story leaked on. You have to bear with me. When you pass a game into censorship, and then they get leaked some information that had something. ESB. Yeah, something like that. There was the ratings board somewhere, and then they have like something like a bit of synopsis, and I had something about zombies in it, and some. But I don't know. I can see like definitely they're going to stick with some form of mutation. I'll be surprised if there's not another strain of a virus. Especially if Umbrella involved.
Actually, you are right, Bio. I actually didn't read my notes properly. I actually have some quotes that I can read from the ESRB rating summary. Players explore the environment and use pistols, shotguns, flamethrowers, and explosives to kill mutant creatures. Combat is accompanied by realistic gunfire, screams of pain, and exaggerated blood splatter effects. So that sounds
cool.
Good. We'll see characters being dismembered by chainsaws, a man's leg taken off at the knee with a shovel. And also, obviously, on our Facebook page today, was it you, Bio, who posted about the chem
Oh, yeah, it was me, yeah.
Do you think these are going to be ways for the players to decide for themselves how they'll survive?
Bear with me a second. I'm just going to get my Facebook page and just so I've got it in front of me. What was? Let's have a look. So we've got. Looks like. See, the first one is very confusing. It's got like herbs and it's got like a bottle, but then it's got a coin. And no one quite knows what that coin is about.
The coins still have anything said about them. Capcom are keeping very quiet about the coins.
So that's the recovery set, and then you've got a handgun set, which looks like bullets, and another coin. So I'm just, in case you haven't seen it. And then we've got a burner set, which is gas, and it's got a coin and something else which I can't make out. And then the final one is a chem fluid set. So, I mean, I was looking at this today, and I have no idea what is going on, to be honest.
I see the coin, and then the first thing that comes to mind to me is you're going to be walking down a path, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear, "Hello, stranger." And like, I'm excited and nervous. I'm like, is there going to be that "Hello, stranger," or are the baker's son going to be like, "Hey, you know what? I've got some herb. Do you want some?" You know, it is. I don't know, like, it excites and nervouses me at the same time, because it's like, you guys say you're going in a new direction, but then you throw these coins at, and that's where my mind goes, is a guy in a black coat coming to me with some guns, you know?
I think I brought it up in the last podcast, saying the merchants, in my opinion, would be fantastic to come back in this type of game, because it's more of a, like, setting a plantation, and it's more of a, like, a low-key affair, as opposed to Resident Evil 6, where it's all over the world. So I think it would be a good opportunity to bring back the merchants. I think you need to bring some elements of Resident Evil into the game to make it Resident Evil. What do you actually think these packs are? I mean, as you said, do you think there are roles at the beginning of the game?
Well, I thought that it would be just consumable items that you could, because they're survival packs. So that says to me that you can use them as you see fit during the game if you buy them beforehand. Like
a DLC maybe, or do you think different editions of the game are going to come with codes where you've got certain packs with them?
I think they are DLC, aren't they? They're pre-release DLC, something like that. But I think if you've bought one on your account when you get the game, maybe you'll find them somewhere in the house, whereas other people won't, and that opens, like, maybe the burner set is some sort of trap you can set.
Maybe the game's 4-player and they haven't told anyone.
Maybe. Obviously, the survival pack would help you live a little bit longer. I'm not sure what the chem fluid packs, unless you're going to be shooting up in the middle of a haunted house.
And burner one is just burning everything, burning to the ground.
What do you think about the fact that the game is going to be VR? Are you looking forward to that? Do you think you'll buy a VR headset for this game?
Me, probably yes, but at the same time, it scares me. I think it'll be too intense, if I'm being honest.
Have you played a VR game before?
No, but I found the game was intense when I was playing a demo. And I had the lights off and the whole family in bed, and I had my headset on. I thought it was intense, and I was thinking, could I cope with VR as well, thrown into it? And I think a lot of the development team have even said it is just so scary.
Well, what about you, Itchy and Yawn? Do you think you'll be getting a VR set for this game, or do you think you'll probably just play it on a screen?
Honestly, I've been really skeptical with VR. Like, it seems like these video game companies keep trying to find new ways to innovate. I'm looking at Nintendo specifically. And whereas there are some things that they do bring to the table that are new, a lot of times people end up wasting their money because the developers, like the third parties, can't get behind it, and they'd rather just do it the traditional way. So I really question the merit of buying, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but like at least $100 piece of equipment, and then
it's £350 for the VR. In UK.
It's
wow.
It's not cheap.
I think it's $450 it's retailing it.
Yeah, so basically it's not cheap. And then it not getting your money's worth out of it. So I mean, I'm not saying Resident Evil wouldn't be worth it in VR. I don't think that's something that I'm going to experience.
Yeah. Plus, you look silly.
So, what did you guys think of the mechanic of using videotapes? Do you prefer reading, like in the old games where you'd find memos around, or do you actually prefer watching something happen on a VHS tape?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I kind of like it, and I kind of like what they announced for it, that they will be used to kind of, solve puzzles in a way. So they're a good part of the game. Like, I mean, the VHS tape that we find in the game now, it takes you back, and then that way you can find the lockpick, you can unlock, get the axe, which still nobody really knows what it's for, because maybe they're just showing off the weapon mechanic, or maybe they're just trolling us. But I mean, I think it's cool in that aspect, but then at the same time, it's like, if I'm watching a VHS, how does it affect my future, you know?
I have something quick to add. Do you remember in Resident Evil Remake, where when you find the first member of STARS, I believe it's Kenneth, and he has a videotape on him.
Yeah.
And you get all the way to the end of the game, and you get to watch it, and you get to basically see him die from his point of view. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I honestly think that if we get more stuff like that, I'll really enjoy that.
I really was a big fan in the demo. The fact that you had to solve a puzzle of opening the drawer in the tape. I don't know if you've done that yourselves. If you go back when you go into the tape, and if you open up the drawer, when you go back to the house, the drawer is open and unlocked. Yeah, and I just thought that was so clever, and I think it really sets up potentially that idea a lot of interesting puzzles.
The show does that really well with just a simple mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Capcom have said in this game there'll be fewer but more impactful enemies. So I thought that meant maybe it'd be like Resident Evil 3, where you're being chased by one, like how Nemesis chases you for sections of the game. I thought maybe it would be one character, maybe one of these people from the Baker family, or, Jack or Margaret.
I know, it's a weird name, isn't it? Margaret.
And their son, Andre, who is described as a bad seed in the game. So I think he's a good possible antagonist. But yeah, so what do you guys think of that? Would you prefer tons of zombies in a first-person game where you just get to kill them all, with shotguns, or would you prefer the being chased by one really powerful enemy for a section of the game? Because that says to me, like, I think it was you, Itchy, who mentioned Outlast.
Yes.
That sounds to me like they are taking a lot from Outlast in Resident Evil 7, if that is what they do.
I hope not. For me, I mean, I thought Outlast was okay, but it's I don't know, I just find this a bit tedious, just waiting under a table, say, for someone to pass. I don't mind saying, I like a game to have I don't mind mixing it up. I just thought maybe the likes of Resident Evil 6 went too far, where it was just wave after wave. But I would like, say, go into a barn in this game, or you're trapped, and there is a section where you fight loads of zombies, and then after that maybe you lose your weapons, and then you are trapped with one powerful enemy. So I would like it to mix it up, if I'm being honest.
My problem with Outlast and games like Outlast is that they take all the power away from you. I mean, all you can do is run and hide. You don't really have the ability to defend yourself, and the ESRB spoilers basically told us that we're going to have grenade launchers and shotguns and pistols, and that I'm very happy to hear that. But I really hope that we do have the option to hide. Like say if our ammo's low and we see this enemy that we probably don't have enough ammo to kill, I would like the ability to run and hide and hope put off that confrontation until I find some more ammo. I think there's a right way to do both. The best of both worlds in that.
Does anyone have any more general points to talk about? I'm drawing a blank.
The lantern trailer. What did you think of that? Because I thought it was really clever, and I thought like that woman, what we can't pronounce her name, she was very intriguing for me. I thought she was a bit. She's apparently meant to go proper psycho, doesn't she? And start screaming and wailing. But at the same time, I was kind of curious of why you were hiding from her, because she didn't seem like she was like powerful, if that makes sense. Well, let's talk about the babies on the wall. That was a bit of a creepy image when you had the dolls, the baby dolls, nailed to the wall.
Oh god, yeah, that's something I think to do with the supernatural part of the game, don't you?
I'm just very, very intrigued on what direction and how long they're going to maintain this. There's a lot of questions that, like, I am like puzzled. Like, I know they've kind of said no recurring characters are going to come in, but do you think that is truthful, or do you think that's a bit of a lie? If I'm being, maybe not as much any heroes, but are we going to get the return of some like a villain? Like who we know, like a Wesker, or anything that's going to tie in with anything?
Because isn't there's, I know we have Albert Wesker, I know we have Alex Wesker, but it says there's like 5 or 6 Wesker siblings?
Yeah.
In Revelations 2, I believe it says that.
Yeah.
Or no, it was in the the Lost in Nightmares for Resident Evil 5 when you open the computer file. And it shows you all the different Weskers.
Yeah.
So maybe it is another Wesker running Umbrella?
Yeah, I thought that myself. I did think maybe they're going to tie in. Because it makes you wonder, why are they in a plantation as well? And isn't the game set, it's still, it's like a kind of soft reboot, because it does continue from 6. So, 6 had a massive impact on the world, and you have to think that.
Yeah, I think maybe we will see a few cameos, because I don't know if you heard the voice on the phone. Did you guys get to that point in the footage with the?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To me, that voice sounded a bit like Ada, but I don't know if that's wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah.
But they're watching us from the helicopter. Was the Umbrella link, wasn't it? From the picture.
Yeah. And I wonder what nods they're going to do to Resident Evil. Are we going to get like safe rooms back? I do think the game could actually be a perfect game for safe rooms to return. Be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice, especially since
typewriter.
Especially if you're going to be playing the game in VR.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for item boxes. Bring back my item boxes.
Yeah, that's all we want. We don't ask for much, do we? We just want item boxes, a typewriter, and the odd merchant just to pop up.
I do want replay value of some sort. Like, I like the older Resident Evil, like the first one, it had multiple endings, and Resident Evil 2 you could start with Claire and then go into scenario B as Leon, and then you could do it the other way, so there was potentially 4 playthroughs there. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a reason to do it again after it's over.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit strange that we haven't seen like any definitive footage of the game? What are we in now? We're in September, and the game comes out in January. I don't know if it's just if you think the same, but they are really trying their best not to give us much information on this one.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. They really are trying to keep it all under wraps as much as possible, aren't they?
I think there was. I think there was
on Reddit, like, whoever said something, they actually figured out who it was. And
what did they say? Was there anything worthwhile, or can't you remember?
It was the Reddit thread where there was all the spoilers talking about there'll be different.
Yeah, I remember reading it, but I thought it was a bit vague. I didn't think there was anything that was like.
Even though it was vague, it was still against the disclosure that they all have to sign. So I think, they would just not give anyone a chance and maybe make a bit of an example of him.
Yeah. What was your reaction when you first seen the trailer in E3?
Mine.
Yeah. Was you a bit taken back when you watched it?
Yeah.
At first, I bet you didn't think it was a Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I didn't know what to I think, honestly, I thought it was like Outlast 2.
Yeah.
Or like a new Outlast game or something. I just, everybody has been saying for, many games that we want third-person cameras back. So they gave us first-person, and I just thought that was a strange choice. Someone last episode mentioned splitting the games. The people who... It was in the divide, the people who like the newer games and the people who like the older games.
Yeah, I think that was me who mentioned that.
Yeah, so I actually found something to validate what you said. The Resident Evil 2 remake, which we'll talk about in a bit, is expected to be third-person or interchangeable. which would obviously appeal to the older players, whereas the Resident Evil 7 is first person and going to go down a new avenue. So there's a theory that going into the future with Capcom games, they're always going to release two around the same time, one appealing to the older gamers and one appealing to the newer gamers. Do you think that's a good idea? Would you enjoy that, or would you just prefer them to spend all their time making one game?
Me personally, I don't mind as long as it's a good game. I honestly don't mind because I prefer the old style games, fixed cameras, but I'm playing Resident Evil 4 now and I'm having a blast as long as they put some effort into it. And Capcom always do. But I think it's a good idea to kind of split up because I think the series is too long. There's like a divide with fans where some fans like 4, 5 and 6. Some like the old school. I think it's inevitable that they're going to have to do this.
Okay, I'd like to share some input on what you said about the old style game being released with a new style game. Sega is doing this with Sonic the Hedgehog because its franchise is fairly old, and I believe next year we're going to get an old Sonic the Hedgehog style game right next to a new style Sonic the Hedgehog game. So and I hate to bring that franchise up because Sonic's really struggled over the last 10 years, but some would say Resident Evil's had its fair share of bad games. It just depends on who you ask.
Yawn, do you have something to?
Yeah, I'd actually like to go back a little bit on what we were talking about. I don't know why it just clicked in my head. We were talking about QuickTime events and how we said that they weren't going to be in there. That's actually not true, but we're going to get them more in a Resident Evil 3 type style.
I think
like choices.
That. Yeah, what was that?
Like when you, just for any viewers who are not sure, so like when you had choices where to fight the Nemesis or to run from the Nemesis, like that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and then we're going to have more of a moral and dialogue choice system. So it's only, from what I understand, it's only going to be featured promptly, and it will change the course of the game, including the endings. And from what I'm reading is that there's actually going to be multiple endings, and it's all depending on your choices in the game.
Is there potential for you to go evil?
I'm hoping. Maybe you're like, you know what? Give me some virus. I want to kill some people too. But it didn't really say much on there. I know. Like for the weapon aspect, obviously your first weapon in the game is going to be a Swiss Army knife, according to the spoils and leaks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then.
What weapon do you think you'd most like to use? I think I'm going to be a shotgun guy. I think I'm just going to try and take off as many heads as I can while I'm playing the game in first person. Looking forward to doing that. So out of the pistol, shotgun, flamethrower, or chainsaw, what do you think you'd rather use?
I'm going to go shotgun. I'm going to play the game like it's Doom. but let's be honest, they'll probably only give you like 8 shells in the first half of the game. Yeah, something like that.
But I was always kind of a knife and pistol kind of guy, especially for the first and second game. Number 3, I didn't really have a choice on my gun because I wasn't going pistol with Nemesis.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Even in easy mode, it was a bit of a hassle.
Well, no, but can I just add something?
Sure.
I know we've done a podcast here today on Resident Evil 7, but we are going to do obviously future podcast on this once we know some more information.
Yeah, there's not.
Because at the moment it's a lot of speculation, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't talked about the stabby knife girl and the corpse. What did you think of the design of the corpse?
Looked more virus to me, but I'm not too sure.
I was hoping we were going to see him, when it zoomed in on her face and there was the blood coming out of her eyes. I really hoped she was going to get up and start eating people, but she didn't. She just laid there. So.
Oh,
yeah, honestly, I think they're going to present a lot of this game as supernatural, and then towards the end, it's going to be another virus. I've been thinking that for a while, and I have a strong feeling they're going to do that.
Do you remember on that when I touched on the Resident Evil 3.5, I had like the ghost in it? That was actually a virus, you know. That wasn't actually a ghost.
Was it? I thought they were messing around with.
No, it was actually a virus that gave you abilities. And I don't know if you've ever played Resident Evil Revelation on the last boss. Can't quite think of his name. It'll come to me in a bit. And he can kind of teleport. If you ever played Revelation.
The guy that's at the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Just the main boss on Revelation. I can't think of his name. It's been a few years since I played it. But yeah, he can actually kind of teleport, which was, so it could be some crazy strain that kind of taps into certain areas of the brain or something like that. You never know, giving you powers, telekinesis or anything like that. I think we come to the end, and hopefully we'll do another podcast soon when we know a bit more.
Yeah, I think that about wraps us up for this week's discussion. Obviously a little bit of a different format with the game not being out yet, but we'll definitely come back for a more in-depth look at the game when it's released. Join us next week for a look at Remake 2, I believe Bio will be leading that one. And as usual, you can find us over at our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Resident Evil Biohazard. My name is Tofu, you've been listening to the Boulder Punch Podcast, and we'll see you next time.